What's up, guys? It's manga time once again, and I'm here today to bring you the review of Bleach 549, The Stormbringer. Why do these chapters keep coming out early? I'm at work, god damn it. God, man, I'm lucky to be able to get these reviews out. But I'm really lucky this week, because this is a great chapter. I am so pleased with this chapter. So it starts off where it left off. And Bazz-B has been defeated. When Hitsugai hit him with the thin ice, he sent him crashing into a wall. And this is a really important victory for the Shinigami, because the other Soul Reapers are like, their morale has basically been boosted completely. They're all like, oh my god, he defeated him. Even without a Bankai, we can still compete with these people. He actually won. And you see Matsumoto and Hitsugai kind of being celebrated by the Shinigami. And this is really cool, because this war is completely different already to the Fate Karakura arc. The way all these foot soldiers are like cheering on their captains and lieutenants in battle, it's really great. And Matsumoto, she's smiling. Of course she is. This is an important win for them. It proves that the Stoneritter aren't unbeatable. However, there's a look in Toshiro's eyes that makes me think, well, possibly not everything is right. However, we don't see that. We then move to Omaeda, and he's being basically destroyed by BG9. Now, when I first saw BG9 holding something to Omaeda's face, I was like, okay, this is a sword. He's playing off the knight motif. Move on to the next page. What the hell is that? BG9 looks awesomely cool. Like, he's literally... This chapter has pushed him to my third favourite Stoneritter. And he seems to be attacking Omaeda with, like... It's either a lance, it's possibly a lance, but he has like strange wires coming out of his body. You don't ever actually see under his cloak. I suspect we probably will eventually. But, well, you don't see a lot under his cloak anyway. But his whole body seems to be made up of like a wire frame. Some people might say it's tentacles. I don't really think it is, though. They look a bit... I don't know, they don't really look like tentacles to me. They look like wires, I think. But anyway, he speaks autonomously. He speaks like a robot. Like I predicted he probably was. He basically says, where's the captain of your division? This is my third question. I'm expecting an answer. And he basically says that he took a Reiatsu sample from their last fight, but he can't find her. Now that's really interesting to me, because that means that BG9, unlike the other Stoneritters, has actually gone looking for Sui Feng. And I have to say, Omaeda is getting some serious respect off me. Because he said, BG9 basically says, you're refusing to answer me. And Omaeda's like, are you stupid? I really don't know where she is. Usually I would pretend I didn't know just to protect her, but I really don't know this time. And it's great, because he basically says to BG9 that even if you knew where she was, she wouldn't lose against a bastard like you. Obviously, this probably... Well, I say it probably annoys BG9, but if he's an actual robot, then he probably doesn't feel annoyance. He basically just says, you refuse to answer 3 times, so I'll change the format of the question. Right, and what he does is he shoots one of his wires into a nearby building, and I was like, what the hell is he doing? Is he like going to bring the building down on top of them or something? But also his wires can bend, and he kind of whips it out, and it smashes through the roof of the building. And Omaeda's like, what the hell's going on? And then he notices BG9 has impaled his sister, Mareo. All of you guys who predicted that BG9 was going to attack Mareo and maybe even get close to killing her, I applaud you, because I did not think that was going to happen. And I'm really glad it did. Because that is just... The fight is so intense already. These fights are so much more intense than the Fate Karakura Town ones were. We're only 2 chapters in. If this was Fate Karakura Town, they'd have just been talking and someone might have taken a step forward. But no, this is crazy and this is awesome. So, I'm surprised Mareo's still alive. I mean, she's been impaled and smashed through a roof, so she's tough. But the look on Omaeda's face, he's just like, what? And then, and she's like, only summer. And BG9 basically says that she's your relative. I can understand that. And this to me confirms kind of his like cyborg androidness, the way that he doesn't seem to be able to properly understand relatives. The idea of relatives, but he can get the idea of relative by looking at the external matches and the internal matches. So he says the external match is almost null, so they don't look anything like each other, but the Reiatsu match is over 50%, and that there are 3 other individuals who match the 50% Reiatsu match. with a radius of 30 meters from here. So this leads me to believe that BG9 possibly has some Reiatsu sensor that can, like, literally tell him how far away people are, and what their Reiatsu is like. So possibly I'm thinking now that the K may stand for the knowledge. He might be BG9 the knowledge. Something like that anyway. But basically BG9 says, I will kill them if you refuse to answer me again. But suddenly you get Saburi comes crashing into the side of his helmet. And Omaeda is pissed. I like this Omaeda. You know, he's actually good. He's actually interesting. He's not necessarily powerful, but he is not running away. He says, let go of Mareo, and he's like raging. And BG9's so cool. Basically, gets a Saburi just falls off his face. He's a little bit battered, but all he does is he just goes, I have 2 questions. Does that mean you refuse to answer me? And he's also a bit of a sadist, because he stabs Omaeda, and he says that if I let her go, she's going to die. Are you okay with that? So that's his second question. And Omaeda tries to swing out a BG9, but BG9's wires bat the weapon away and then stab him again on the other shoulder. So Omaeda's in serious trouble now, and BG9 looks really cool. He can just stand there and have these kind of wavy wires coming out in front of him in all directions. And I don't know if he means to be, like, taking the piss, but he says to Omaeda that there is a possibility that the language area of your brain stopped working due to shock. That's hilarious. I mean, like, what is he... Why is he, like... I don't know, maybe the fact that he's a robot, he's being literal about it. He actually thinks that's what happened, or he's taking the mick. Either way, this guy is awesomely cool. And I'm not really too sure what's going on here, because it looks like BG9 says, I won't forgive you, but then, why would BG9 says that? Because then he says, I'm expecting an answer, and then Omaeda says, I won't forgive you, you bastard. BG9 gives Omaeda 15 seconds to answer him, and then he says 15 seconds have passed, and then, oh my god, he casually pulls out a railgun from under his cloak. And this is the part where we can kind of see what BG9 looks like, but not really. His entire body literally seems to be made up of these crisscrossing wires. You can sort of see they come up his neck as well. I'm interested to see what the rest of him looks like, but he does just appear to be a bunch of moving wires. But his railgun looks awesome, his Gatling gun. And Omaeda's just like screaming, and BG9 fires this massive round of bullets. This is crazy. It's the second chapter of fighting. However, his Gatling gun has been severed at the front, and he's like, what the hell? And someone appears behind BG9 saying, I thought Quincy's used bows and arrows. And it's Sui Feng. I don't like Sui Feng, but she's looking cool here. I've got to say, she's looking cool here. It is very cool, actually. She drops all of his bullets, and she's like, you're a bit more civilized than I thought. Completely taking the mick out of Quincy history there. BG9 merely replies saying his sensor didn't react. This kind of confirms my idea that he has sensors rather than actually being a person of Reiatsu. And then Sui Feng just says, as if someone from the Omnitsukudo couldn't conceal their Reiatsu. BG9 then lists off all his stuff. He says Sui Feng, 9th generation of the Feng family, captain of the 2nd Division. That, to me, again, kind of relays the whole idea of him being the knowledge, as if he has like this database within inside him. He basically wonders why that appearance. She says, you have all that information, yet you're surprised about how I look. This is Shunko. Awesome. We haven't seen Sui Feng use Shunko since the Yoruichi fight. Yoruichi used it against Aizen. And now we get some very, very interesting information pertaining to Shunko in this chapter. BG9 basically says, yeah, I know, you fight with Kido on your back and shoulders, but your Shunko is supposed to be incomplete. Now, this is the only bit I'm slightly kind of iffy on. Sui Feng says, do you really think I'd leave it incomplete forever? No, of course you wouldn't. You would train it up. Apparently she completed her fight she completed her Shunko after her fight with Yoruichi, and she's been training hard to perfect it. And then she summons her Shunko, and it's wind taking the form of butterfly wings. Looks awesome. And this is really interesting, because it tells us that Shunko comes in different elements. Yoruichi's is lightning, Sui Feng's is wind, and that is awesome to me. That is so cool. These are probably the only 2 Shunko we'll see in the series, but it's great that there's some variety there. She says she found a way to make the Reiatsu she emits revolve around her like a whirlpool, and and once she uses it, she's able to fight, keeping Shunko activated the entire time. Now, she says, I must thank you. If you hadn't stolen my Bankai, I probably wouldn't have been able to perfect it. What? It's the same thing with Hitsugaya. How is Hitsugaya able to perfect, like, the ice level of his Shikai in about 4 days? That's literally all they had. Sui Feng's is possibly explained in that she says she completed it way back in Soul Society and has been training ever since. And because her Bankai was stolen, she had to focus on something else. So those last 4 days were just purely focused on Shunko. But even so, I do find the idea to be a little bit iffy. Regardless, though, it's just awesome. She attacks BG9. She appears right in front of him. And she uses an ability called Mukyu Shunko, where she basically just punches this massive kind of vortex of wind into BG9. And I don't know if this means anything, but the slits on BG9's face go completely white when he gets hit. And he gets really badly hit. Yeah, he kind of like expands and just gets blown away. And there's a massive explosion. Toshiro turns around, and basically all the other Shinigami are like, whoa, Captain Sui Feng's done it as well. She's won too. And Matsumoto's like, this one looks alright. Should we head back to the other captains? And Toshiro's like, yeah, sure. And so that's the end of the chapter. Matsumoto and Toshiro are going to head to the other captains, and Sui Feng has just defeated BG9. And it looks like... Wait a second. Bazz-B's talking. He's basically been impaled into this pillar, and he says, hey, that's mean, you know. Are you leaving me already after the preliminary test? Yes! Yes! I knew he wasn't beaten. I knew the Sturmiter weren't going down so easily. The way he says preliminary test makes me think that they've literally just been toying with them the whole time just to find out what they can do. If that's the case, I'm so happy. The Sturmiter are not pushovers, and they're going to kick some serious arse. Bazz-B's basically been slammed into the wall. He's got a pretty nasty look on his face. And he says, I still haven't even started fighting. And you can see that he's heating up the ice, and he's actually melting it around him now. And then we get this brilliant panel where Sui Feng has apparently turned away from BG9. She's left a huge crater in the ground, but BG9 appears through the smoke. A slight crack on his helmet, but an eye lights up inside his helmet, and that's the end of the chapter. Brilliant, brilliant read. Oh man, I really loved this chapter. Nothing major happening, but it was completely enjoyable the whole way through. The art was top notch. The art was fantastic. The editor's note says, next time the Sturmiter start their counter-attack, what is their real power? Brilliant chapter. The Stormbringer gets a 10 out of 10 from me for being completely and utterly awesome. Just an absolutely fantastic chapter. Bazz-B and BG9 are not down for the count. They are coming back, raging and ready to kick some ass. Sui Feng returns. Now that's interesting, because to me, I'm sure she was outside the Seirete. So does that mean that they can still pass into the Shakomaku? It just takes them into Vandenreich rather than Seirete? Let me know in the comments below how you think she got back, and if it's just that simple. She demonstrated her complete Shunko, which is awesome. And it's nice that Kubo tied that up, because after the Yoruichi fight, Yoruichi does say that your Shunko is incomplete, so it's nice that Kubo tied that up. Nice to get some info on Shunko, that we get elemental types. BG9 is awesome. His wires, his railgun out of his cloak, yeah, he's sweet, he's really cool. And I do think the K stands for the knowledge. He seems to have some kind of database. But just all round a fantastic, fantastic chapter. Yeah, definitely 10 out of 10. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyable. I'll do my predictions for the next chapter in my companion video, so make sure you guys check that out. I'll probably start leaving the links for the companion videos in the description below. As for panel of the week, however, there's quite a few actually. I really like this one, this chapter. I loved the panel of... There's just so many dynamic panels of BG9 that looked awesome. The one where he pulled out his railgun looked cool. The one where he was firing his railgun looked cool. The one where he was emerging from the smoke at the end looked awesome. Bazz-B's kind of nasty face when he was like, yeah, we're still here. Just great, great panels. But if I had to go for a panel of the week, it's got to be Sui Feng and her butterfly wing Shunko. Just dynamic, and it looked freaking awesome. And it was a really nice continuation of something we had in the past. So that's it for my review, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this chapter. What do you think of BG9? What do you think of his fight against Omaeda and Sui Feng? Do you like Sui Feng returning? Do you like her complete Shunko? What do you think about Bazz-B? What's going to happen in the next chapter? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a like and a thumbs up. Really helps support the videos, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And that's it for now, guys. Don't forget to check out the companion video. See you then.